Hello, Norwich University family. This is your president, Dr. Mark Anarumo. Just want to send a video to clarify some issues that are circulating out there, provide some context and background information so we can all get back on the same page. It's very important to me that we truly get through this year, this very challenging year, academic year, and at this point, a calendar year, as a community together, a family, as Norwich together, right? And there's some issues going on and some questions and some just there's we have fallen short on some of the communications and explanations ahead of events that now I think it's very appropriate and very important that I explain some things to you in better detail to explain what happened. So the three issues that I want to talk through are going to be recognition, the rings, and commencement and commissioning. So before I get into the individual topics, I just want to share with everyone, this has been a very difficult year. It's been a very difficult semester of a very difficult year. We have students everywhere. Obviously, we have some students on campus, a large number. We have an equally large number that chose to study remotely or elsewhere, either at home or wherever they chose to study from, but not on campus. And we fully encouraged and supported and celebrated that. And I've always said, and I mean it very sincerely, that you will never be treated as a second-class member of this university community if that was your choice. Everyone made that decision for very different, very valid reasons. And whatever your reason was is not as important as that was your choice. And we encourage you to make your own choice. So we celebrate it, we support it, and none of the decisions we've made has been a disparagement to those that decided to study elsewhere rather than be on campus where they didn't feel like the value was there for the family or the mental health was appropriate given the lockdowns and the quarantines we've had to endure. So nothing has been decided that was meant to be insulting to those that chose to study remotely. Okay, likewise, we've done some things that were designed mostly for our remote learners and that were at the detriment somewhat of the in-residence students. We also have students that are doing practicums, they're doing clinicals, they're doing study abroads or internships. We have a large university community in many different learning modalities and programs. And, we're trying to do what's best for everyone all the time, but we can't always make everyone happy. But the things that we've decided and the ways that we have done things was never meant to be insulting or disparaging or put a distance between any parts of our learning community. So, our motto on our flag is I will try. We're trying very, very hard, and we're doing things no other college or university in this country are doing. So I hope everyone can hear the spirit of that. I'm asking everyone, please, you understand, we're trying to do what's best for everyone, and everyone is a very complex population right now. So in that spirit, let me please explain, first of all, recognition. And hear it from me very clearly. The official recognition ceremony is in August. The entire Rook class of 2024 will experience their recognition event or events in August together as a class. Okay? That is the official policy of school. That's still what we're going to do. It's always been our promise. We will meet that expectation. We will fulfill that promise. This past weekend, we have upperclassmen that were able to stay on campus, and we have Rooks that were able to stay on campus, and both groups made their choice to be here, and that's okay. And the ones that stayed at home, that's okay too, or went home. So these upperclassmen are leaving. They're going to graduate and they're going to get commissioned. And many of them that are going to go into military service, they will leave the country. Well, they'll leave the state for sure. Some of them might leave the country, but they won't be back in August to participate in any of these recognition events. So they wanted to have an event where they can explain to their Rooks how proud they were of them. And the Rooks that are still on campus, they wanted them to wear the correct rank. So they weren't still wearing the uniform items that were associated with pre-recognition Rookdom. Everyone at home was recognized. Everyone on campus was recognized. Those upperclassmen, before they left, potentially for good, wanted to have something meaningful and interaction with the students that were still on campus. That was not the recognition event that we promised you. That will happen in August, okay? And there was a remote component to it. The same cadet upperclassmen that wanted to share that message of gratitude and congratulations, they made a video to send to all the Rooks that were studying remotely. And they shared the same words and the same spirit of transition that they shared in person. So there's a remote component. If people didn't see it yet, the Office of Communication is going to make sure that gets out. But it was done at the same time, same message. It was not meant to separate the populations. It was the upperclassmen who are leaving who will not see these rooks again wanted to communicate in person for the resident population, and they wanted to communicate remotely to our remote studying population of rooks. That was not recognition. Recognition will happen in August as promised. So I hope that clears that up, and I hope everyone can understand. Now, if there's misunderstanding, that means we did not communicate it well enough. It should have been communicated in advance. It should have been very well articulated that this is not the official recognition event. This is something the upperclassmen wanted to do. It was very professional, very polished, very appropriate, okay? But it wasn't communicated well enough to keep everyone focused on being together. So for that, we're going to use it as a learning and teaching opportunity for all. Okay, so I apologize to anyone who felt slighted. Never the intent, but please hear me. The recognition for the class of 2024 Rooks will be in August as promised. All right, for the rings. Rings were sent to the ring committee. For some, they were sent to the P.O. boxes on campus. For some, they were sent to home addresses for some. Students on campus, graduate or rising juniors, so current juniors that are moving into their senior year, the class of 22, some received their rings, they put their uniforms on, some in the Corps of Cadets did, and they opened their rings together, okay? You know, we've had ring ceremonies, we have very important ceremonies that we couldn't have this year. That was the students getting together as peers and opening their rings together, okay? The ring celebrations will be in the fall. That'll be for the Corps of Cadets, that'll be for the civilian students. So the students that got their rings on campus, they got together and opened them together, took their pictures. That was great, it was wonderful. Students that are in the Corps that are home are getting their rings in boxes from the ring committee. And that will be very nice. They're packaging up with other things. I'm not going to ruin the surprise for you. And then you can have your rings. You can wear your rings whenever you want to, right? You can wear them now. And we'll have the ring celebration in the fall. Civilian students, some got them mailed here, some got them mailed home. Some are still waiting from the vendor, okay? There will be a ring celebration for the entire class of 2022 cadets and civilians in the fall. The leadership of both lifestyles will come to us and say, this is what we want to do. Some will be together, I'm sure. There'll be special other events, and that's great. You know, we're going to support and we're going to enable it. But the ring celebrations are this fall. But the rings came in as they came in, and the students chose to wear them if they, right now, without a ring ceremony in the spring, so they can do something more meaningful together as a class in the fall. So again, none of that was meant to disparage anyone. That wasn't meant to be a split between anyone. It was just people put on the rings as they got them, and those cadets that got them together wore the uniform, they put the rings on, they took their pictures, and it was appropriate, okay? But it wasn't meant to slight anyone or make anyone feel less important. The ring celebrations will happen this fall when the group of students is together, cadets and civilians, okay? And the class leaders from both will come and tell us. The class leaders of the whole class and the class leaders from the cadets and the civilian lifestyles will say, this is what we would like to do, and we will support and enable that. So again, nothing was meant to be disparaging or distancing. That was all very deliberately done, very tastefully done, and it was not meant to be insulting to anyone. All right, so finally, commencement and commissioning. A lot of schools, most, the vast majority in this country, decided to go to virtual or online-only commencements for this year because it was just too difficult for the pandemic and state requirements, etc. We have been fighting very, very hard, right? We've been trying very, very hard to fight successfully to have an in-person commencement this year and commissioning for those that are entering military service. And we're very proud of the fact that we won. We actually made the case. We got out of our outbreak that we had in the beginning of the semester, and now we have achieved the right, the ability to have an in-person commencement. But we have to follow the guidelines set forth by the state of Vermont. So Vermont says you can do these certain things in person, these things you can't. And we made our case to have an in-person commencement. They accepted our plan, and now we're going to have an in-person commencement to really give the students that are graduating what they deserved, which is an in-person commencement, which was their priority. I know families are upset. I have a graduating senior from the Air Force Academy, and we've been talking about me commissioning him for about 10 years when he eventually would enter the military. And I don't know if I'm going to be allowed to do that for him. I'm not sure I can go to his graduation, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to commission him. So I understand the frustration from families that want to be here. I understand it. I'm empathetic with it. I'm very, very in touch with your frustration because I feel it myself as a parent. I'm going to have to follow the rule of what Colorado is going to say the Air Force Academy can and can't do. We have to follow the rules set forth by the state of Vermont. The state of Vermont right now has said families and guests cannot attend in-person commencements. And we have to have the commencement ceremonies distanced and executed in a certain way. And I'll tell you all, this is very, very difficult for us. We have a lot of people working, 7 days a week, 20 hours a day to pull off this in-person commencement. I would love to have families here. I want to celebrate everything about Norwich. We have to follow the rules set forth by the state of Vermont, okay? So none of this is being done through any kind of deliberate disparagement of the families that can't participate. We have to follow the rules set forth by the state of Vermont or we won't be able to have an in-person commencement or commissioning. So please understand the decision space has been very limited, okay? I'm living it as a parent whose son is graduating and I would like to commission him and I want to watch him graduate. And I might not be able to, okay? I know it's frustrating. I feel it. I'm there with you. But please hear me when I say we're doing everything we can for every single student here. And, we're doing the best that we can. We're not going to make everyone happy. But I hope you can hear that we're trying to do the right thing for everyone, okay? So I hope that helps. I hope it brought us together. I hope you can hear obviously I'm sad for everyone. I wanted this to be more meaningful every day for everyone. We're doing everything that we possibly can with our students as a priority, okay? So I hope that helps. I hope it brings us further together. I hope it removes any misunderstandings that have occurred over the last couple of weeks and as we plan for the next couple of weeks. So I do appreciate everyone's support and their patience and their understanding in these really unprecedented times that hopefully will be over very soon. All right, everyone. I appreciate you all very much. Norwich together, Norwich forever.